And if you like this reading, as I always ask you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if that's what you'd like to do. And yeah, I'll just start your reading right now for Leo. So the first card you have your past is the Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, obviously this queen's caring, she's looking at this coin, she's, you know, it's almost like she's the mother of this coin. So yeah, obviously I'm seeing caring. I'm seeing a little bit of caution as well around this. I think you do help a lot of people. I'm seeing a lot of different people coming to you, maybe for advice, opinions, things like that. I'm not sure if this is your job to do that. It might be caring for other people, because I'm seeing someone coming to you for advice, and you know, you sort of know them, but maybe you don't know them all that well. So it might be a colleague, might be a client, and they've sort of latched onto you in a way. I don't think you're expecting this. You weren't expecting them to be as reliant on you as they were, and you don't mind helping people, but I think this was a little bit much for you. I think this person took up a lot of your time. They took up a lot of your energy as well. And if this is all resonating with you, I think they might actually have some deeper problems than what you can help them with. So, you know, so if that all resonates, see if you can direct them to someone else, maybe a counsellor, some other kind of help, I don't know. You know, I think that would be better for both of you, for them and for you as well, because I'm just getting this feeling of drowning almost. I know that sounds dramatic, but it's like that. I think that's how you felt. I'm actually seeing messages or emails, big, long messages. You know, maybe a sea of messages. That's why I'm seeing drowning, a sea of messages, paragraphs, words, really long messages. And I think you just looked at these words and you just felt like, oh, I'm just drowning in these words. I can't answer them. It's just too much. It's too much for me. So yeah, try to steer them towards someone else, or someone who can help them, if that makes sense. Someone who'd be better to help them, and then, you know, it'd be better for you and for them. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the next card you have your past is, yeah, the Three of Swords. No one likes this card. Horrible card. You know, I always see dramatic things happening in your readings. I don't know why. They just come up all the time. Maybe you're a dramatic person. Sorry, I know I don't want to make light of this. Anyway, so yeah, I am seeing some instability around you, and it wasn't what you wanted. You ended up having this instability around you, but you wanted the opposite to begin with. That's what I'm seeing. Obviously, this is in love. Okay, so I'm seeing a situation, and I think it's a situation where you really wanted stability. You really wanted stability with someone. That's what you were looking for. I think you might have even promised yourself that, you know, this time I'm not going to fall for the wrong person. I am not going to do that. I'm heading for stability. That's what I want. That's what I'm going to get. Nothing less. You might have really said this to yourself, probably not in those words, obviously, but, you know, you're really saying, no, I want stability. I want stability. Now, if you look at this card, swords can represent feelings, words, hurt, all of that kind of thing. And what I'm seeing here is your feelings are being represented by one of these swords. I know that sounds a bit strange, but if you look at the middle one, for example, it's heading down toward the earth. It's heading down toward stability. That's what the earth is, stability, rocks, earth. And that's what you're trying to aim towards, stability, and that's where the swords are pointing toward. So if they were kind of free falling down, they'd head toward the earth. But yeah, that's not what happened. You were captured by emotions, captured by someone's heart, and you're caught up in that, just like this sword. So you couldn't go any further. You couldn't reach that stability that you wanted because you were caught up in love, in this heart. And, you know, of course, we all look for love. We all want that feeling. But, you know, you're captured in this heart, in love, and you did not get that stability at all with this person. I think, in fact, you had the opposite experience with this person. So, yeah, I think after this, you know, from then on, you're probably just really, really careful not to let your heart be captured in that way again. Not ever again, but in that kind of way that you were at this time. There's a bit of conflict here, though, because I think part of you might actually still like to feel some of those old feelings again, not the bad ones, and not necessarily with this person. It's the feelings, it's some of these feelings that you miss, these kind of exhilarating, exciting feelings, happy feelings, love feelings. You know, I think you were just so in love with this person, and when you're with them, especially in the early days, I'm going to try and articulate this, what I'm seeing this really clearly. You know, I think when you're so in love, even your surroundings, everything seemed to be very, very different to what it was before. Everything felt different. Even the roads you've been down 100 times looked different. The footpaths looked different. Everything looked different, and it felt different. And I think that's what you miss. Okay, I know that sounds strange, but this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm seeing. So I have to say that. So yeah, and I think when you've been under that kind of spell of intensity, and it was also kind of a spell in a way, you know, this person caused you all kind of problems. So they weren't right for you, and you know that. You could see that on a practical level. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to come back from that. It's hard to come back to real life when you've been up there. But you had to. You just had to do that. So, you know, I hope that all makes sense to you. I was feeling a lot of different things, seeing a lot of different things. And yeah, I just hope that makes sense. I know it seems a bit crazy. Okay, so the last card you have your past is the King of Cups. Okay, so this is an interesting card. Obviously, this is about emotions, cups. And I think this card's sort of bridging the two cards above it, if that makes sense. Okay, what I mean by that is, maybe to help yourself through this heartbreak, I think you might have found yourself helping other people. And I keep on seeing a job change or a career change around this as well. You know, you might have even moved because of this breakup. I think there are a lot of big changes that happened around you anyway, whatever it was. But yeah, I think you're still helping people. I think doing that helped you to move forward. And yeah, you're still doing this in some way. I'm seeing that. And but maybe you don't open up as much to other people yourself. I think that's something you probably still struggle with. You know, you're a little bit of an island, like this king. He's surrounded by water, so he's like an island. So in terms of emotion, I think you draw in the emotions from other people. You listen, you absorb them, you help people, but you don't let them out. So, you know, you might be fine with that. It might be absolutely fine, but you know, you've got to let them out somewhere. I think you can't keep them all in and not let them out. Like for me, my outlet is art. So you might have to find, even if it's not letting out your emotions, talking to someone, that might help. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You might have to find some other outlet for that. And I think this Three of Swords is here for a reason. I think it's there to remind you that you still have some of these old things, these feelings, things you have to work through or address. And you've got to kind of try and move forward from that. I think that's what that's all about. So if that makes sense to you, just keep all of that in mind, because you can't move forward properly unless you've addressed that. That's what I'm seeing. So the first card you have your presence, the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so, right, okay, so I'm seeing someone who, you've had this person around you for a while, for a long time actually. This is a friend. I think you're really close. I think you've been talking for a long time. There's this little elephant in the room. And I'm just looking at these three coins. So, you know, there's you, there's this other person, and then there's the elephant. And the elephant is that there's an attraction between you and this friend, this person. That's what I'm seeing. So, you know, I think they know this, you know this. And I think it's probably only a matter of time until they come out and they express this to you. This is going to come from them. I'm not seeing this coming from you. They're going to be the first ones to say something. That's what I'm seeing. And at some time, they're going to want you to open up to them. And I think that's why all this thing's being brought up in your past, because that's what you're going to struggle with doing. Sorry about that. I just had a hiccup. So, yeah, so you're going to really, really struggle with opening up. That's what I'm seeing. Because of this old hurt, you're going to have some of your walls up. And, you know, the thing is, they're a kind person. They're a reasonable person. So, and you know them well as well. I keep on seeing that. And they're a friend now, but they definitely want more, and I think they'd definitely be disappointed if you said no to this going further. So that's why you have to address this, because you've got this situation coming up. It's kind of coming to a head, you're friends, but you both know that sooner or later this is going to come out. So that's what I'm seeing there. So it's all kind of starting to make a bit of sense to me now. So I hope it makes sense to you. The next card you have here present is the King of Wands. Okay, so yeah, part of you would really, really like to get together with this person. I think you like them. It's in theory, though, in your imagination, you'd kind of like this. But I think maybe the reality of having to open up again and be vulnerable with this person or with anyone sort of strikes you with fear a bit. You know, I think you're afraid of this opening up. That's what I keep on seeing. But you're thinking about this, though, I think. You know, if you look at this king, obviously he's about to get up and go, but he's not standing up yet. He's just sitting there. He's thinking, and he's thinking, oh, am I going to go? Am I going to stay? What am I going to do? And if you look just behind his head, there's a salamander there, or a lizard, and it looks a little bit like it's kind of turning around in circles. And it's right behind his head. So maybe all these thoughts are spinning around inside your head, turning around, and you're not sure, do I want this yet? Can I open up? Am I ready? Every time I try to do that, I get all these bad feelings. I don't know what I want to do. So I am getting that you're safe around this person. They're an honest person. They're a straightforward person. And they're attracted to you, but it's not just that. It's not just that they're attracted to you. They genuinely care about you. But of course, you know, it's all up to you. It's your decision. So anyway, that's a few more things to think about anyway. So the last card you have here present is the Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is what I'm seeing again. You're not going back to this old person. You are not going back to this ex. Definitely not. That's the end. You're not going back to them, and you know that. But the man on this card, you know, he's walking away. He's walking away from cups, so he's walking away from emotions. And that's the last little step you need to take. It's not them. It's not the ex that you need to walk away from. You don't have those feelings toward them, but you miss the feelings of love, that elated feeling, that beautiful love feeling. So it's not the person, it's the feeling. And you still have that kind of hanging around you, that's what you miss. And you're kind of holding on to that. And that's why it's hard for you to open up to this new person. And because you're afraid of being hurt again and going down that road and going through all that again. So it might not even feel like hurt. It might just feel like, you know, a scared feeling. You know, when you think about getting close to someone, it might come out as you being a bit defensive or avoidant. It can come out as anger, come out as all different kinds of things, just depending on your personality. But it has to be addressed. It has to be addressed sometime. And I think that's what the message in this card is. And really, this whole reading's been telling me this whole thing. And yeah, I'm getting this a lot in this week's reading. It's not just yours, it's everywhere. You know, people who haven't totally gotten over their past. You know, it's everywhere. So you're not the only one. You're not alone if this resonates with you. So yeah, the first card you have for your future is Justice. Okay, so there's going to be, this might have already happened. It's probably been going around for a while, but I think this might be the first you're hearing about this. It's some sort of pettiness, some sort of gossip or something, talking about other people. And I think, yeah, I think this might have been going on in your workplace or around work. And yeah, it's been going on for a while, but I think you're going to be made aware of this now for the first time. So this is probably the first you're hearing or seeing this, or you know about this. And I think this is because someone's going to try and make you get involved or something like that in this gossip. And you're going to want to stay well away from this, well out of this. And I can see why. I'm the same. I couldn't be bothered with that rubbish. And yeah, but you're not going to be involved. But I think it is going to change your opinion of a few people around this. You know, you had one opinion of a few people, maybe colleagues. You thought, oh, they're fine, I get along, all of that. Then when you hear all of this, it's like, oh, that's what they're like. I didn't know that. So, you know, you're going to be looking at a lot of people around this in a completely different way than what you had before. And yeah, it's going to create an atmosphere. But, you know, you're going to rise above this. You're going to rise above this whole thing. Just like the woman on this card, you know, she has a sword up against any rubbish. she's well balanced, she's perfectly balanced, and you know, she's up high on a platform, so she's rising above everything that's kind of down below her. So my feeling is that you might be working your way out of this workplace anyway. You might be looking around at other options, thinking about what else is out there. You might be looking into your own business or starting that on the side, something like that. I think I saw this in your last reading as well, something about this, a business or another job or something. But yeah, you know, this is going to make you even more determined, I think, to move on if that's what you're thinking of doing, you know, because no one wants to be in that sort of atmosphere. It's really horrible. So that's going to kind of push you forward into that if that's what you're thinking of doing. Okay, so the next card you have for your future is the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, so I see communication in this card quite a lot. I often see that in this card. Like you're saying something, then the other person says something, then it's your turn, then it's their turn. It goes up and down, up and down. But it's slow communication, backwards and forwards. So that's what I'm seeing here. I think this person in the Three of Pentacles, I think they're probably going to make their feelings clear to you at some time soon. And it might happen over text message or some other kind of messaging, whatever you do. I'm seeing a bit of frustration around this as well, a bit of waiting. Sorry about that, siren. They might be waiting for you to answer them, maybe. Yeah, I think you're going to take your time on this, and I think it is going to be a little bit frustrating, but they're not going to say that to you. They're going to be patient. And I think no matter what you do or what you say or whatever happens around this, I think they'll still be... Wow, that's close. Go away. Go on. Go away. Thank you. So, yeah, I think they're very interested in you. They're very attracted to you, and I think they're determined to keep this going, to keep these wheels spinning around. And I think if you make them wait, if you do whatever, they're going to be very patient, and they're just going to sit and wait. You know, I think if you took your time, they wouldn't mind. They're really attracted to you. That's what I'm seeing. They just don't mind. Well, that's another one. It's distracting me. I'm sorry about that. So I'll go away. Okay, so the last card you have your future is the Four of Cups. I'm really sorry about that. Right, okay, so this is showing me that it's looking like you might eventually say no to this person, but it's strange. I'm seeing strength around this connection, a big strong connection, very strong connecting, almost like Lego, connecting together. Perseverance as well, pushing things together, making sure they're together. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing there, because you know, these two of Pentacles, it's about an infinity, being together forever, and sometimes it looks like a big rubber band, and so that these pentacles aren't going to fall out all over the place, you know. So sometimes I see that as well. I'm looking at these two together, obviously. So, you know, I think you're probably going to say no initially. That's what this card's saying to me. But then I think they'll come back again and they'll ask you again and they'll talk to you again about this. So, you know, don't worry, they're not a crazy stalker or whatever. They're not like that at all. They're a sensible person. But they are going to try again. That's what I'm seeing. So be prepared for that. You know, they're a nice person. They're a reasonable person. I think I keep on having to say that to you because I think I'm worried you're going to be like, oh, they're a stalker. They're not like that. But yeah, just be prepared. If you say no initially, they are going to come back again. That's what I'm seeing. So Leo, I hope this resonated, but as you know, general readings can't always resonate with every single person or every single Leo. But again, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like to. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.